Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about something deeply personal yet universally relatable. The key to unlocking your true potential lies within you. Too often we look for answers in the world around us, seeking validation, direction, or inspiration from others. But the truth is, the most powerful transformation happens when we look inward and connect with our authentic selves. Unlocking with yourself is about embracing your imperfections, owning your story, and stepping into your power with courage. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about being fearless, it's about feeling the fear and showing up anyway. Think of yourself as a locked treasure chest. Inside is everything you need: your talents, your dreams, your resilience. But only you hold the key, and that key is self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-trust. When you stop fighting who you are and start accepting yourself wholeheartedly, that's when the magic begins. Life is not always kind or predictable, but our strength lies in how we respond. Challenges are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones to growth. Failures are not definitions, they are lessons. When you unlock with yourself, you discover the strength to rise, the courage to try again, and the wisdom to navigate life's uncertainties. The journey inward, true motivation and strength come from within, yet so many of us spend our lives searching outward for answers. We look to others for approval, for reassurance, or for a sense of direction. We think that if we follow a certain path, achieve specific goals, or meet societal expectations, we'll finally feel fulfilled. But the reality is, no external source can give us the clarity or the confidence we seek. Those things reside within us. Taking the journey inward means pausing and turning your attention to the most important relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. It requires asking hard questions. Who am I when no one else is watching? What truly matters to me? What am I afraid of, and why? These questions can feel overwhelming at first because they force us to confront the parts of ourselves we might prefer to ignore: the doubts, the fears, the unresolved wounds. But it is in this confrontation that we grow. Looking inward is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of courage. It's a willingness to face the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, and to embrace who we are, flaws and all. When we take the time to understand ourselves, we stop chasing external validation and start creating internal alignment. This alignment is what unlocks our motivation. When you trust yourself, when you learn to listen to your inner voice instead of the noise of the world, you'll find that you are more capable, resilient, and resourceful than you ever imagined. You are not waiting for someone else to save you, fix you, or lead you. You are unlocking your own power. The journey inward doesn't end, it evolves as you do. It's not about finding all the answers at once, but about continuously discovering who you are and what you're capable of. Embracing imperfections, we live in a world that often celebrates perfection. Social media shows us highlight reels of others' lives. Advertisements promise us happiness if we meet certain standards, and we're taught from a young age to hide our flaws. It's no wonder we spend so much time and energy trying to appear perfect. But deep down, we know this pursuit is exhausting and unattainable. The truth is, perfection is an illusion, and striving for it only distances us from our true selves. Embracing imperfection doesn't mean settling for less or giving up on self-improvement. Instead, it's about shifting the way we view ourselves and our worth. It's about recognizing that being human means being imperfect, and that's not a weakness, it's a strength. Our imperfections tell a story. They remind us that we've tried, we've failed, and we've learned. They make us relatable and allow us to connect deeply with others, because who can truly relate to perfection? When you accept your imperfections, you release the weight of unrealistic expectations. You stop judging yourself so harshly and start showing yourself the compassion you deserve. You begin to see mistakes not as defining moments, but as opportunities for growth. Instead of hiding your flaws, you learn to own them and use them as stepping stones to becoming the person you want to be. This shift in perspective is powerful. It frees you from the need to constantly prove yourself. It allows you to show up authentically, knowing that you are enough as you are. By embracing your imperfections, you give yourself permission to live a fuller, more genuine life where growth and joy take precedence over an impossible standard of flawlessness. Owning your story, every one of us carries a story, our unique collection of experiences, challenges, triumphs, and lessons. This story shapes who we are and how we view the world, yet so often we feel ashamed or hesitant to fully embrace it, especially the parts that don't fit neatly into society's idea of success or perfection. We hide the messy chapters, the failures, the heartbreaks, and the moments of vulnerability, fearing judgment or rejection. But when we deny parts of our story, we also deny our power to grow from them. Owning your story means taking full responsibility for your journey. It means recognizing that your story in all its complexity is what makes you uniquely you. The difficult moments you've endured, the mistakes you've made, and the lessons you've learned are not liabilities, they're strengths. These experiences shape your resilience, your perspective, and your ability to connect with others on a deeper level. To own your story is to let go of the need for external validation. It's about standing in your truth and saying, "This is who I am, and proud of it." It doesn't mean you have to share every detail with the world. It simply means accepting and embracing your journey as an integral part of who you are. It's about realizing that the power of your story lies not in its perfection, but in its authenticity. When you own your story, you also reclaim the narrative. Instead of letting others define you by a single chapter or mistake, you define yourself by the lessons you've taken from your journey. You become the author of your future, not just a character in someone else's expectations. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same, to show up, be real, and embrace the beauty of their own stories. Progress over perfection, many of us hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, believing that perfection is the ultimate goal. We tell ourselves we'll be happy, successful, or worthy once we achieve an ideal version of ourselves or our lives. But in this relentless pursuit of perfection, we often overlook the value of progress. We become so focused on what we haven't achieved that we fail to celebrate how far we've come. This mindset not only drains our energy, but also robs us of the joy that comes with growth. Progress is the act of moving forward, even if it's in small steps. It's about learning, improving, and evolving over time, not arriving at a flawless endpoint. Life is a journey, and the moments that shape us the most are not the ones where everything is perfect, but the ones where we grow through challenges, mistakes, and effort. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your resilience and determination. When you focus on progress, you give yourself permission to try new things without the fear of failing. You understand that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the process. It's through trial and error that we discover what works, what doesn't, and what we're capable of. Progress allows us to embrace our imperfections, recognizing that they're a natural part of growth rather than something to be ashamed of. Choosing progress over perfection also brings a sense of freedom. It frees you from the paralyzing fear of not being good enough, encouraging you to show up as you are and do your best in the moment. It reminds you that you are a work in progress, and that's okay. By focusing on the journey rather than the destination, you open yourself up to opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and fulfillment that perfection could never offer. Courage through fear is a natural part of life, and no one is immune to it. It shows up in different forms: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. Sometimes it whispers doubts into our ears, and other times it feels like an overwhelming force that keeps us stuck in place. The presence of fear can be paralyzing, making us believe that we must eliminate it before we can take action. But the truth is, courage isn't about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and moving forward anyway. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means standing face to face with it and choosing to act despite its presence. It's acknowledging the tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach, or the voice in your head that says, "What if I fail?" and still deciding to take the next step. Courage is found in the small moments, when you speak up for yourself, when you try something new, or when you step outside of your comfort zone. Fear is a teacher, not an enemy. It often signals that we're standing on the edge of something meaningful, a chance to grow, to change, or to pursue a dream. If we let it, fear can guide us toward what matters most. But if we let it control us, it can hold us back from the opportunities and experiences that bring us fulfillment. To cultivate courage, we must shift our perspective on fear. Instead of seeing it as a stop sign, we can view it as a challenge, a signal that we're alive and pushing boundaries. Courage doesn't guarantee success, but it does guarantee growth. Each time you face fear and take action, no matter the outcome, you become stronger, braver, and more confident in your ability to handle life's uncertainties. Ultimately, courage is a practice. It's not a one-time act, but a series of choices we make every day. The more we practice it, the more resilient we become. And while fear may always be present, it no longer defines us. It becomes the backdrop to the courageous life we choose to live. The treasure within each of us is like a treasure chest filled with unique gifts, talents, and dreams. But too often we fail to recognize the value of what lies inside us. We get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, believing that their skills, achievements, or qualities are more valuable than our own. We look outward for validation, waiting for someone to tell us we're enough or circumstances to align perfectly before we take action. In doing so, we overlook the truth. Everything we need to succeed, to grow, and to thrive is already within us. The treasure within us includes our creativity, resilience, intuition, and capacity to love and learn. These qualities are not something we need to acquire. They are inherent to who we are. However, discovering and utilizing this treasure requires self-awareness and self-belief. It's like holding the key to a locked chest but hesitating to turn it, fearing that what's inside won't be enough. But when we take the time to unlock it, we find not only enoughness, but an abundance of potential waiting to be realized. Part of unlocking this treasure is trusting ourselves. It's about listening to that quiet inner voice that tells us we are capable, even when the world feels chaotic. It's about believing that our unique strengths and experiences have value, even when they don't look like anyone else's. No two treasure chests are the same. And that's the beauty of it. What you bring to the world is something no one else can replicate. Life often challenges us to uncover and use our inner treasures in ways we didn't expect. Difficulties test our resilience, new opportunities call on our creativity, and connections with others deepen our capacity for empathy. Each challenge and triumph reveals another layer of who we are and what we can do. When we embrace this process, we stop seeking external approval and start building a deeper connection with ourselves. By recognizing the treasure within, we also learn to approach life with confidence and gratitude. Instead of waiting for external circumstances to validate our worth, we carry our worth with us wherever we go. This shift in perspective allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with a sense of empowerment, knowing that the key to our success and happiness lies within our own hands. Challenges as stepping stones. Life is filled with challenges, and while they can often feel like roadblocks, they are more accurately stepping stones. These obstacles, whether they are failures, setbacks, or moments of uncertainty, are not designed to stop us, but to push us toward growth. Challenges are not a sign of weakness or inadequacy. They are a natural part of any journey toward progress and fulfillment. They test our strength, expand our perspective, and help us discover what we are truly capable of. When we encounter challenges, it's easy to feel frustrated or defeated. We might question our abilities or wonder if the effort is worth it. But these moments are opportunities in disguise. They force us to adapt, to think creatively, and to build resilience. Each challenge we face presents a choice: to let it overwhelm us or to use it as a tool for self-improvement. It is in overcoming obstacles that we gain the confidence to tackle even bigger goals. Challenges also teach us lessons that success alone cannot provide. They show us our limits and invite us to push beyond them. They reveal our fears and give us the chance to confront them. They remind us that growth often requires discomfort and that the most meaningful achievements are rarely the easiest to obtain. Each time we rise to meet a challenge, we prove to ourselves that we are stronger than we thought. Furthermore, challenges have a way of clarifying what truly matters. They strip away distractions and force us to focus on our priorities. They remind us to persevere not for perfection, but for progress and purpose. And in doing so, they help us align our actions with our values. Ultimately, challenges are not the end of the road, they are part of the journey. Each one we face and overcome builds a bridge to something greater, a deeper understanding of ourselves, a greater appreciation for our abilities, and a clearer vision of our potential. By embracing challenges as stepping stones, we transform obstacles into opportunities and turn struggles into strengths. Failures are lessons. Failure is often seen as something to be feared or avoided at all costs. We live in a culture that prizes success and achievement, and the idea of failure can feel like a personal defeat. However, when we view failure through a different lens, it becomes one of our most valuable teachers. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is an integral part of the process. It's a stepping stone on the path to growth, a sign that we are pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zones and attempting something meaningful. Every time we fail, we learn something, whether it's a lesson in patience, resilience, or perseverance. There is always something valuable to be gained from these experiences. Failure reveals our limitations, but more importantly, it shows us how we can transcend them. It exposes the areas where we need to improve, prompting us to adjust our approach and refine our skills. Failure also teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not infallible, that we are constantly learning and evolving. This humility can foster a growth mindset where we see setbacks not as signs of inadequacy, but as opportunities to adapt and become better. When we embrace failure, we stop defining ourselves by our mistakes and start defining ourselves by our ability to learn from them. In many cases, failure is a powerful motivator. It drives us to try again, to push a little harder, or to think more creatively. Far from stopping us in our tracks, failure often reignites our passion and determination. When we fail and get back up, we demonstrate resilience, a key ingredient in success. The act of failing and then moving forward is what strengthens our character and builds our confidence. Moreover, failures help us recalibrate our goals. They give us a clearer sense of what works and what doesn't, and in doing so, they guide us toward a more refined path. They reveal whether we are truly aligned with our values, passions, and purpose. Sometimes failure teaches us that the direction we were heading in wasn't the right one, and it nudges us to pivot, to try something new, or to deepen our commitment to the path we're on. Failure is not the end of the journey, it is an important part of the process. Each time we fail, we have the opportunity to learn, grow, and move closer to our true potential. When we let go of the fear of failure and embrace it as a lesson, we unlock the freedom to take risks, make mistakes, and ultimately succeed in ways we never could have imagined. Self-acceptance. At the core of personal growth lies one simple but powerful truth: we cannot grow if we do not first accept ourselves. Self-acceptance is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Yet, it is one of the most difficult things for many of us to achieve. We live in a world that constantly tells us who we should be, what we should look like, and how we should live. These external expectations often clash with who we truly are, leading to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and frustration. But the key to living an authentic, fulfilling life is learning to embrace ourselves exactly as we are, imperfections and all. Self-acceptance means recognizing and honoring your true self without the pressure to conform to anyone else's standards. It involves acknowledging your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, and your flaws without judgment. When we accept ourselves, we stop trying to be someone we're not and instead begin to appreciate the person we already are. This doesn't mean we stop growing or improving. Rather, it means we stop rejecting ourselves for not being perfect. It's about showing ourselves the same kindness and compassion we would offer to a close friend. Accepting who we are in all of our complexity is a powerful act of self-love. It allows us to step away from the comparison trap and to stop measuring our worth against others' achievements or appearances. When we stop striving to meet external expectations, we free ourselves from the stress and anxiety that come with always feeling like we're not enough. We begin to appreciate our unique qualities and see the beauty in our individuality. Self-acceptance also allows us to take responsibility for our actions and choices without letting our mistakes define us. When we accept ourselves, we give ourselves permission to learn from our failures and to grow from them. We no longer need to beat ourselves up over our shortcomings because we understand that we are works in progress, and that's okay. We acknowledge our mistakes, but they do not become the labels that limit our potential. Embracing self-acceptance also opens the door to deeper, more meaningful connections with others. When we accept ourselves, we are less likely to seek approval from those around us or hide parts of ourselves out of fear of judgment. This authenticity allows us to build relationships based on mutual understanding and respect, rather than on trying to meet someone else's expectations. Ultimately, self-acceptance is not about complacency, it is about living with peace and authenticity. It's about loving ourselves enough to honor who we are right now while still striving for growth and improvement. When we accept ourselves fully, we step into our power and begin to show up in the world with the confidence and clarity that comes from knowing we are enough, just as we are. The real you matters in a world that often values appearances, status, and conformity. It's easy to forget that what truly matters is not who we are trying to be, but who we already are. The real you, the one that exists beneath the layers of expectation. Comparison and self-doubt is the version of yourself that the world needs. Too often we hide or suppress this authentic self in an attempt to fit into a mold that someone else has created for us. We wear masks to please others, to gain approval, or to avoid rejection, but in doing so, we distance ourselves from the very essence of who we are. The real you is not defined by your job, your appearance, or your achievements. It is defined by your values, your passions, your quirks, and your ability to connect with others on a deeper level. When you show up as your authentic self, you radiate a kind of energy that resonates with the world around you. People are drawn to authenticity. There is a power in being real, in embracing your individuality, and in letting go of the need to please or perform. When we embrace the real us, we stop measuring our worth against other standards. We stop chasing external validation and instead begin to listen to our own inner voice. This is where true confidence is born, when we learn to accept and love ourselves exactly as we are, without needing anyone else's approval. The real you has a unique combination of strengths, experiences, and perspectives that no one else can replicate. It's these qualities that make you valuable, not because you're perfect, but because you are real and authentic. Living as the real you also means embracing vulnerability. It's about being honest with yourself and with others, even when it feels uncomfortable or risky. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open the door to genuine connection, deeper relationships, and the ability to inspire and support others. The real you doesn't need to hide or pretend. It thrives in the freedom to be imperfect and true. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It doesn't need a perfect, polished version of you. What the world needs is your unique presence, your authentic self. When you show up as you are, flawed, messy, passionate, and true to yourself, you make a powerful impact. You inspire others to do the same, to live authentically and courageously. By embracing the real you, you not only find peace and fulfillment, but also give others permission to do the same. When we stop pretending and start living as our true selves, we create a ripple effect of authenticity and self-acceptance that spreads far beyond ourselves. The world needs your real self because that's the version of you that has the power to make a difference. The journey to unlocking your true potential is not about seeking perfection or external validation. It's about embracing the real you, imperfections and all. It's about understanding that the strength you seek is already within you, waiting to be uncovered. As you step into the world with courage, self-acceptance, and authenticity, you will begin to realize that the path to true fulfillment is paved with the courage to be yourself. So take a deep breath, trust in your journey, and know that every step you take toward being the real you is a step toward living a life full of purpose, joy, and impact. The world is waiting for you to show up as your true self, so don't hold back.